I want to tell you a quick story. So you go out to this farm and you meet a farmer and he comes up to you and he says, "Hey, I got this field out here, and somewhere out in my field, I have treasure buried in the ground, but I don't know where it's at. I'm going to give you a shovel. I want you to go out, start searching, and try to find this treasure if you want to." And so guy gets the shovel, he heads out, he starts surveying the land and picks a spot maybe to start at, and he starts digging. He digs down 1 foot, he digs down 2 feet, 3 feet, and then at about a 4-foot range, he hits this ginormous rock. And so he hits this rock and he's figuring, there's no way it's here. So I'm gonna hop out of this hole. I'm gonna go start digging in another hole. And so he does that and he starts the same process again. He digs down 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, and then this time at 4 feet, he hits an enormous tree branch. And so he hits this branch. He could get it out if he wants to, but he doesn't really feel like doing the work or spending the time to do it. He's not so sure about that hole as well, so jumps out of that one. He says, I'll start a third one. And so again, he starts the same process again. He starts digging down, and somewhere in the 4 foot, 5 foot range, he hits another obstacle. And it doesn't even matter what the obstacle is. It could have been a rock this time or a branch. It could be anything at all. But he hits an obstacle and he gets out and he puts the shovel on the ground, and he goes back to the farmer and explains to him what he's done so far. And so I'll fast forward to the end. The farmer knew all along where the treasure was, and he tells the guy, he says, "Look, there was treasure in an enormous 50 foot by 50 foot area, the entire area that you were standing over the whole time. But that treasure was at about that 8, 9, 10 foot range. So you could have picked any area to start digging your hole. You just had to stay in the hole that you were digging." And that is the biggest lesson in life for us. That is the biggest lesson for us as an athlete. When we're digging in a hole, when we're in an area, it's not always that your mechanics are wrong. It's not always that, you're just not capable. Sometimes we lose belief in ourselves. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be road bumps, challenges, things along the way that knock us off course. And it's really our job to stay in it, to make the adjustments, to figure out what it is we need to do to get the rock out of the hole, to get the branch out of the hole, to maybe go around the obstacle and find a way to keep progressing forward, digging a little deeper into the soil. And so again, it's not so much the hole that you were in, it's about staying in the hole that you're in and keep working forward. Because you're going to hit an obstacle no matter where you start digging. And as a baseball player, as a softball player, man, there's going to be times in your season where you just have a slump. You have some bad games. You don't get hits and the ball looks like a golf ball instead of feeling like a baseball. And sometimes when we're feeling hot, the ball looks like a basketball and it looks a little bigger than it really is. And so we've got to take the good with the bad. But the most important thing is that we have to make adjustments. Every single person is going to be forced to make adjustments, even the best. To tell you the truth, the very best of the best, right? The Tom Brady's in football, the Michael Jordans in basketball, the Mike Trouts in baseball, whatever it is, and it's in all sports, they've all faced tons of failures and roadblocks. They've actually probably faced more than we realize. I've given several talks on Tom Brady and Michael Jordan's story. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Tom Brady had obstacle after obstacle after challenge, and then he finally thought he was going to get drafted high, and he gets drafted in the 6th round, which was the second to last round, and has to do the whole thing all over again. And those two players in their sport are known to be the best players in their sport. And so when your swing's not working, find a way to tweak it, but do not change everything, right? Stay in the hole. Stay in the progress that you've been working on all off season. Trust in your abilities and in yourself. Stop getting into the habit of digging multiple holes and stay consistent to the hole that you're in and make minor tweaks, minor adjustments. It doesn't always mean you need to push through the rock. It doesn't always mean that you have to go around it. It doesn't mean you always have to take it out. It might be one of those 3 options, but I promise you it's going to be one of those options. There's going to be an option in front of you as an athlete. There's always going to be an answer in front of you. And when you spend enough time in that hole, you're going to find that answer, I promise you. You spend enough time in that batting cage. You spend enough time in the weight room. You spend enough time out on the field doing sprints or getting reps. I promise you, when you put in the reps, you put in the time, the work, it will eventually come to you, and you'll start to finally see it click, and I promise you will eventually always find an answer. But 3 last things to finish. Number 1, are you willing to stay in the hole? Number 2, are you willing to realize that this is part of your development? If you really want to reach the next level and develop, it's in the hole you're in. And number 3 is that there's nothing you can do to avoid the obstacle, the branch, the rock, the roadblock in your way. You got to acknowledge that it's going to come no matter what you try to do to avoid it. And you have to be willing to push through it.